Hey guys, we have another severe thunderstorm outbreak to talk about today for portions of the south. This is from the same storm system that's bringing the blizzard and snowstorm to the upper Midwest, and that brought severe thunderstorms to portions of the Plains states yesterday. So right now we're looking at the Storm Prediction Center's severe weather outlook for today, and you can see they have a level 3 enhanced outlook for portions of Mississippi and Louisiana here, with the slight risks surrounded around that. So that's what I'll be looking at today. Let's looking at the future radar and looking at the parameters and what we'll be talking about, what we'll be looking at today for that area. So this is the HRRR model, high resolution model, looking at the jet stream level today, looking at the jet stream today. And as we go into this afternoon and tonight, notice how we get a jet streak that develops across portions of the lower Mississippi Valley, right in here. So that'll put this area right in here in the right entrance region of the jet streak. That'll in an area of good divergence aloft. That'll be one cause for the thunderstorms today. And then also, I want to show you guys the low level jet. So this is looking at the about 1 mile or about 1 kilometer above sea level. The wind speeds, the low level jet, and then watch as it begins into tonight. A very strong low level jet develops across portions of the Tennessee Valley. That'll be another culprit as to why we'll be getting such severe thunderstorms for portions of Louisiana and Mississippi. Even though the core of this low level jet streak is to the north of that, it'll still have an effect on the Mississippi area. So let's go right into the future simulated radar here. Let's go to the south, right here. And then we'll just be going through this hour by hour here. So we start off with this. We start off this morning, and then we have like a linear line of storm starts to push into portions of Arkansas and Louisiana by this afternoon here. That'll be the main culprit of the severe thunderstorms today. Now the flow is parallel to the frontal boundary today, so that's why it's going to be more of a linear segment or squall line of storms that develops. But still, this could pose a pretty significant tornado threat today because it's moving into an environment that's very suitable for tornadoes, especially across portions of Louisiana and southern Mississippi. So by the time we get to this evening, around sunset time, as this squall line starts to push into portions of central Louisiana and central and southern portions of Mississippi, that's when it'll start to strengthen as it pushes into this environment that's very suitable for severe thunderstorms and tornado development. This will be around closer to midnight tonight. Still a ways away. That's still about 12 hours from now, so it might change a little bit. But in general, around midnight tonight, it'll be pushing into the Jackson, Mississippi area, around Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and just looking at the environment ahead of this system here, just to see what we're looking at. We have an environment that has curvature. We do have some curvature in the hodograph, veering of winds in the low levels. Not a ton, but there is a decent amount. Very high helicity values in the 400s and 500s. That's extremely high. So there's a lot of updraft rotation potential with these thunderstorms when they move into this region. Also, low level shear over 40 knots is very strong, and that includes almost 70 knots of bulk shear from the surface to 6 kilometers. So we have enough wind shear to keep these storms going and very organized, and we have enough low level shear to produce such a tornado threat. Otherwise, since the air is very moist at the surface, we have CAPE values. We have decent amounts of CAPE to produce said thunderstorms. So the environment is very conducive for severe thunderstorm and tornado development across Louisiana and Mississippi. The only thing is that since this will be more of a linear segment of thunderstorms, they tend not to produce strong tornadoes. But since the environment is very favorable in this region here, I do think that there will be tornadoes embedded within the squall line, especially if we get Bowen segments or mesovortices that can develop along this squall line, and especially if we can get any supercells that develop ahead of the squall line. Those will be very favorable of producing tornadoes. And if any cells can become discrete, I'm concerned that there could be a potentially strong tornadoes with this. Um, that's one of my concerns today. So anyone in like the Jackson, Mississippi area, Baton Rouge, maybe New Orleans should be on a very strong. Keep an eye out on these storms today. Um, but anyway, as we go out through the night tonight into the overnight hours, this whole squall line continues to push eastward into the rest of Mississippi, the New Orleans area, and then it moves into Alabama. As we go overnight, the instability starts to wane a bit due to the lack of daytime heating, but I still think the southern portions of it will remain rather severe across portions of southern Alabama and as it moves into the panhandle of Florida. Places like Pensacola tomorrow morning could be talking severe thunderstorms. And then as we go through the day tomorrow, this whole thing just continues to shift to the east. But I want to back up a bit and show you guys some of the parameters we're looking at. So let's go to back around this time, around this evening time, sunset, and then I'll be showing you guys the parameters. So first we start off with the Cape, or the amount of energy we have for the thunderstorms. You can see there's a pretty sharp cutoff in Mississippi, but I still think this whole area here will have decent amounts of Cape, over 1,000 joules per kilogram. Not overly impressive, but definitely it's anything over 500 or 1,000 is strong enough or high enough to produce thunderstorms, or severe thunderstorms, I should say. Next, I want to show you guys the bulk shear and the lowest kilometer. We have very high values in Mississippi and still decent values in Louisiana. So the thermodynamic environment is a little bit better in Mississippi. That's where the tornado threat is higher there. But even in Louisiana, the environment is still good enough to produce thunderstorms, or tornadoes, I should say. Then looking at the bulk shear up to 6 kilometers, notice how we still have the whole area is very high bulk shear here, especially in parts of Mississippi. That's where we're gonna have these That's why the squall lines should last a long time, because it's in an environment with very good and high values of bulk shear. Next, I'm going to show you guys the helicity, or the amount of updraft rotation potential we're talking about. This is a very key ingredient to get in tornadoes. Notice we have extremely high values in Mississippi. That's those purple colors showing values over 400. But even in the orange and red in parts of Louisiana, that's still high enough. Values over 200, still high enough to get tornado development. But the environment over Mississippi is very concerning to produce tornadoes. The only saving grace would be that this will be a squall line instead of getting many supercells. So that might keep the amount of tornadoes down, especially the severity of the tornadoes. And then just putting all that together and looking at the significant tornado parameter, where the thunderstorms that have the best chance of producing tornadoes. At this hour, it would be around 8 p.m. Central Time. The best environment would be still over portions of central Louisiana and southwestern portions of Mississippi. But as we go just a couple hours later, you can notice how this whole thing starts to shift to the east. The highest values of the significant tornado parameter right in here. It'll be mostly confined to Louisiana and the southern half of Mississippi is where we'll be seeing the highest values of the tornado parameter. Basically showing that if a thunderstorm moves into this area here, that's where it would have the best chance of producing a tornado. It's not showing overly high values, barely over 2, but still concerning, considering the amount of helicity we have out there, especially in Mississippi. If I'm not mistaken, that might be all I have for today. So the area I'm most concerned with is obviously where the SPC has it, basically in this area here. This whole area here is where I think the best chance to get tornadoes would be. Like I said, it's going to be a squall line. Could get embedded in mesovortices in there, especially along Bowen segments. That'll be the most likely area where tornadoes would occur. If any supercell can develop ahead of it, that would have the best chance to produce a strong tornado, because squall lines tend to not produce very strong tornadoes. So that's the one saving grace, like I said, that we're getting a squall line instead of just many discrete supercells in this type of environment. But still a very concerning look today, especially places like Jackson, Mississippi, and down to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Because, like I said, the thermodynamic environment is better over Mississippi. That's why I think the best chance to get in any strong tornado would be in this area here. I'll highlight portions of central, southwestern Mississippi, maybe adjacent portions of Louisiana have the best chance of getting a strong tornado. That includes Jackson. Other than that, I guess that's all for today. I'll write basically the summary of today in my video description. So I hope everyone stays safe out there and have a good one.